Let's go. Welcome back on this Tuesday evening as we continue our 2025 draft preparation by looking at the starting pitcher position, devalued by MLB, but not by me. It's 40% of my scoring category. But as we always do, we begin each show by asking you the question, where else would you rather be than right here? Boom! Right now. You are looking live at our split studios. This is Fantasy Baseball Now, episode 23, the Michael Jordan edition. On our show, part of the Ball9.com podcast network, heading into a combined 72 years of fantasy baseball experience, Mike and I are here to talk Major League Baseball with a fantasy baseball spin, in addition to the starting pitchers. Look at the hot stove and our Super Bowl picks for amusement only. Maybe, and quite possibly a visit from the creator of Ball9.com, El Jefe himself, Chris Vitale. He is on LA time. He's on Vitale time. We'll see.
Exactly. He's like Don Rickles showing up on the Tonight Show and nobody knows he's coming.
Sure.
He walks through the curtain. I'm like, what the hell?
Pitchers and catchers about a week away.
Yeah.
It's almost time.
It is almost time. I'm glad that we got through that messy diversity, equity, and inclusion clause we had in our show, and I got to be on the left tonight instead of the right as usual, because we dumped that. It's a meaner, worser world that we live in now, and you know what? To be quite honest with you, I fucking subscribe to it. We're talking baseball, so obviously the Mets and Red Sox are going to get some additional vitriol. But one of the things I learned today, and one of my favorite days on the app formerly known as Twitter, is Chaos Tuesday, when our boy Not Guy Eddie posts a nepta about somebody that really shouldn't be. That always creates some little bit of chaos. And I don't know how the fuck today spiraled from Bill Buckner into what it spiraled into. Mostly a comparison between Ted Williams and Anthony Rendon and Joe DiMaggio, and it's just complete and utter chaos, and I'm here for it. Like the snowball starts rolling down the hill, and I can't fuel that fire enough. But one of the two amazing facts that I learned today: Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio both faced 60 Hall of Fame pitchers in their career, and their career batting average, each of them against the 60 Hall of Fame pitchers that they faced, each of their batting averages was 334. That's unbelievable. That's an amazing stat that both of them would have that. The other thing, which is what really got everything rolling today, is in a 5-year period in which Ted Williams served in the war, he played more games in that 5-year period, 3 of which were serving our country, than Anthony Rendon has played in the 5 years of his $255 million contract.
Well, look,
with the fucking Anaheim Angels.
It gets in the way of his family time. He's got, someone's got to take the kids to the trampoline park. You can't schedule a day game for him. It's just not convenient with his lifestyle.
Well, you don't want to waste a season pass to Disneyland. I mean, you got to go.
No. You make the investment. I'm just thankful he can put food on the table for the family.
Yeah, it's nice of him to grind it. It's nice of him to grind it out. And thank God that the Yankees signed the greatest left-hand pitcher in the history of Major League Baseball today, reliever. Not Billy Wagner, soon to be Hall of Famer.
See the left-handed Chad Bradford.
But yes, Tim Hill.
Okay.
Who Yankee fans and in the Yankee Twitter world have been screaming, why haven't we signed Tim Hill, for what feels like 2 months? And I'm just thankful that that actually got done. So now we go back to figuring out who the hell's going to play third base, which is a thing.
Work on it. Hey, I gotta show this comment. Uncle Ted was ready to go tonight. 29 minutes before we went live, Uncle Ted says, what I'm going to tell you all tonight, apostrophe, Y-A apostrophe L-L, Uncle Ted.
He's from Texas.
We'll change everything. That's true.
I hope it's aliens. I hope it's aliens.
That'd be cool.
I hope it's aliens. I hope maybe it's that Shohei Ohtani's dog also places bets for him. maybe it's that.
Yeah, maybe he knows another umpire with a shared gambling account with his roommate.
What the hell?
That guy's like the best ball strike umpire in the game.
Yeah, he literally had like 3 100% games last year calling balls and strikes, and baseball is like, nah. We got to get some dirt on this dude. Something's wrong here. We can't have that. We can't. He's fucking up the robo-ump thing badly. Yep. We got to get rid of this guy. He's
making everybody look bad.
Yeah, he's screwed up the narrative.
He's like the best mailman on the staff where Newman was on Seinfeld. You know, he can't.
Yeah, he's my mail carrier. Who, when she retires, I'll go back to getting mail 2-3-ish days a week.
All right.
Here we go.
Starting pitchers.
Grok and Gemini.
Here's my thing with starting pitchers. MLB's devalued them. They're blowing their arms out. But you know what? In a 5x5 league, there's still 40% of my scoring categories. I'm a big pitching guy. Different insight tonight. I'm going to come out with something that's not going to be wildly popular, but we'll get going here.
No. You know, it's interesting, despite the fact that baseball has devalued pitching over the weekend, Buster Olney said there's still 70 unsigned free agents.
Yeah.
And of those 70, 40 of them are relief pitchers.
Wow.
And most of them are 39 now with the Tim Hill signing. Most of them aren't that great. Wait a minute. Ted, I just want to tell you, the person that asked that question is not named me.
It's Ball 9.
It is Ball 9. Not Gronk, your favorite tight end of all time.
I didn't say Gronk. I said Grok. My favorite tight end is Brock. Don't call me Kip Bowers.
Jesus Christ. Way to be prisoner of the moment. I guess Dave Casper sucked.
Dave Casper's still number one with me, the Ghost.
Yet you're wearing a Brock Bowers jersey.
This is actually my first jersey I bought since Charles Woodson 1.0. I got tired of the Todd Marinovich investments, number 12.
Is it a color changer? So when he gets traded to the Steelers?
No. I got him for
a third round pick and the rights to Russell Wilson.
No, we're not getting Russ. Not with Chip Kelly now. Chip Kelly can. We're excited.
Congratulations. He did a great job the last time he was in the NFL.
I don't care about the Super Bowl this year. I'm excited for next year when Pete Carroll leads the Raiders into Santa Clara, Super Bowl 60. I'll be there.
They got tickets?
I will get some. No, I'll get some to go watch the Raider Nation play. Watch Aiden O'Connell win Super Bowl 60.
Oh, my God.
All right.
A better chance of watching friggin'
By the way, if El Jefe
lead the Jets into the Super Bowl.
If El Jefe Vitale does show up, I am going to ask him for a comment. And I know we're a baseball show, but he is a Cowboy fan. And I love to work Brian Schottenheimer into any and all conversations when possible.
Oh, I do hope he comes on. It'll be nice to have a Dallas Cowboy conversation. We talk about how Tress Waynes is throwing more passes in the NFC Championship than Dak Prescott has. That'll be fun.
All right. Who's going first? You first?
Well, we'll see who I bring up here. You're first.
There we go.
You're first.
So here's the thing. I do not have Shohei Ohtani on here for a reason.
I don't either.
I think they're nuts if they pitch him. They have, 9 capable starters if you try and get 5 or 6 of them healthy.
Yeah.
But if you're the Dodgers, I know you invested a ton in them. You've gotten all that back. You get all that back in marketing revenue and whatever else. Why would you risk, with all that pitching depth, why would you risk that bat coming out of your lineup so you can pitch them? And more importantly, is in a fantasy sense, because we're a fantasy spin show, you're not going to get any 2-start weeks out of him. Why would you risk the 1 start? Just play him at a hitter. He's going to DH every other time.
So on some platforms and in some leagues, he's 2 players.
He is 2 players. We don't have that, though. I think it's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you draft him as a pitcher or you draft him as a as you draft them as a pitcher or you draft them as a hitter.
Yep.
I have been adamantly on record, and I will not. I only root for Dodger failure, so I don't want them to do this. If I were the Dodgers, I would make him my closer.
Yeah.
And then he would be available literally whenever I needed him. And the 3 innings a week he might pitch will be more effective for them. Though they're not going to need a fucking closer this year anyway, so it's not going to matter. But the 3 innings of him being a closer, and he did it in a WBC, and he was amazing. That would be better to round out that pitching staff than anybody they signed. I mean, you want Shohei Ohtani as your closer or friggin' Kirby Yates? Or do you want, a half-injured Michael Kopech or Blake Trinan on a rubber arm at the end of the year because you pitched them 111 games because none of your starters can go deeper than 5 innings? I mean, yeah. And that said, each of us still have multiple Dodger starters in our top.
We do because so if they are truly going to have a 6-man rotations, you're looking at 1 start a week. I think that's 27 starts. The season last year was 27 weeks, I think. So you're going to get 27 starts. Now, I actually don't mind that for a guy like Blake Snell because he might pitch more innings with less starts. They might let him go out there more than a 5 1/3. We're going to see about that. I'll tell you the guys I really like this year. There's three elite, Skubal and Skeens, and then just a notch down is Zach Wheeler. I love Cole Reagans in Kansas City. A lot of strikeouts there. I still have Logan Gilbert 5. I don't know if he can replicate last year. And some of these guys I'm just kind of ignoring the injury history. Chris Sale. Maybe the Braves, I've said it before, maybe the Braves just figured it out with him. I love Michael King in San Diego. I can't believe they're thinking of trading him. They might move Dylan Cease. I don't know what they're doing. Well, they're cutting payroll. Stupid.
They don't either.
Garrett Crochet, I'm not sure how much I love him because I want to see him do it for a full season. I'll let you
not on the White Sox where nobody's actually paying attention.
I'm guessing you're going to talk more about Hunter Green, so I'll leave that with you. A guy I don't really love this year is Corbin Burns. He was under a strikeout per inning last year. He's going to Arizona. Not the best ballpark for pitchers. I put Jacob deGrom up there just because I'm hoping the man's healthy. I'm hoping he's healthy and see what he's got, though it's troubling. The other guy I really like in there is Bryce Miller, number 17. I moved him up based on some of the rankings I saw on CBS compared to other pitchers. He doesn't walk anybody. He's got a great whip, a great ERA. His strikeout rate is good enough to warrant a top two pitcher on your pitching staff.
This is how hard, honestly, after the first 3-ish, it is to do this. Like, we could have easily done 40.
Oh yeah,
we could have easily done 40. And it also, like, to Ted's point, as he's introducing AI into fantasy, which is 100% fascinating to me on a multitude of levels. It just like a lot of times with pitching, especially in fantasy, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. And we spend an inordinate amount of time on what ifs with pitchers. Like, what if DeGrom is healthy? Like, what if DeGrom can throw 180 innings? He's 4th. Like he literally he could go from there to 4th. I tended to add, like, I had injured guys a little lower, like Glasnow and Strider and DeGrom a little lower. And I don't know where Kristen Yelich came from, because that's supposed to be that's supposed to be Willie Peralta.
This is something we don't know.
It is. But, like, I have Snell higher than you. I have Burns higher than you.
Yep.
Neither of us had our favorite player, and we're both wearing. You were wearing royal blue before you put that abomination on. We didn't have Seth Lugo on here. I like Logan Webb.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll get back to Webb.
I'm iffy. Well, you had him many years. I'm iffy on King only because it's 1 year. And it's the same reason that I don't have Crochet higher is that like Skeens, the whole world knew he was going to be a stud. The whole world knew he was going to be a stud.
Are they going to treat him like an adult this year? Or are they going to cut him again? That's the only reason he was number 2 for me. Otherwise, he'd have been 1. If I thought he was going to be a candidate to get to 180,
do you honestly think that the Pirates have any idea what they're doing? They
No,
don't have
they
a
have
clue
none.
what they're doing.
They have none.
They have no idea. They have no idea what they're doing. They just don't have any idea. They just like I couldn't put Sasaki on here because I don't trust
No.
Pitchers coming from any place in the East until I see it. Like I got to see it with my own eyes. I mean, I've got Valdez higher than you do. I mean, we have most of the same guys. I don't have Schwellenbeck, and I certainly am never going to put Sonny Gray on this list because I'm just not going to.
You love
So
Sonny.
like on the fringe, like Zach Gallen's on the fringe. Grayson Rodriguez could make it. It'll be interesting when we recap at the end of the year and we look at where we ranked them versus initial average draft position versus end of year rank. It'll be very interesting. That is amazing, Ted. That's amazing.
I don't have Glasnow on my list because his career high is 134 innings. It was last year. He doesn't make enough starts, and there's a dig at you. And that's the problem with the injured guys, right? I'm being subjective. I have DeGrom up there, but not Glasnow because I'm just not sure. Strider, I'm not sure. He's only going to miss a month, but what's he going to get? The reason I dropped Logan Webb, I loved him a couple years ago because he threw a ton of innings. His strikeout rate has gone down a little too much, and the innings weren't there last year. That's only 1 year, but I love guys that eat innings because the more innings you get and the better the stats are, the more they impact your team. And that's Webb's big value is if they're going to let him go and be a horse, any of those guys, they're worth their weight in gold when they pitch.
Right.
If they can get 200 innings, there's a huge value there.
But like, I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the year Robbie Ray's in the top 30.
Yeah, if he's healthy.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. I wouldn't be surprised if Woodruff was in the top 30 if he can pitch. I mean, he's top 15 if he's healthy. He's phenomenal.
But, I like, even though I dropped him a little bit in my rankings, George Kirby in Seattle.
I don't like guys that are subscribers to the 100 pitch count and they don't want to pitch over 100 pitches.
Yeah, he's never going to shake that one up. Yeah, I want to share this with you from our good friends. This now becomes a business write-off. Our good friends at the Last Dive Bar, my official Oakland Coliseum Stadium dirt from the last ever home game, September.
It looks exactly like
2024.
The outfield in Sacramento. Amazing.
That's not funny.
Hey, $25 you can sit in the outfield grass on a lawn chair.
That's funny, but not the other one.
But like, what do you like? Sean Manaea was unbelievable after a delivery change last year.
Yep.
He's the ace for the Mets, which is laughable. But like, where do you see him? Where do you see a guy like Spencer Arrighetti? Like Spencer Arrighetti had some starts last year. Like, man, oh man, like this guy, he was rivaling Crochet with some of his starts, and then he would give up 11 runs in an inning and 2
Yeah. I want to go to Strider, right? I don't know what to make of that. I couldn't rank him. I'm just not sure. The injury is just scary.
I had to, because And with me, it was his makeup, right? So I think he's going to come back, and when he comes back, it's going to be like he never left.
Okay, very possible.
Because he's not going to. I mean, he's going to pitch, and if his arm falls off, then his arm's going to fall off. Like he's one of those guys. He's like a throwback guy. He's just going to pitch, and he won't go out there until he's healthy. And when he's healthy, he's going to expect that he's going to be great. I do love Bubba. I do love Bubba Chandler. I do love Bubba Chandler, man. I love that kid.
Here's a guy neither one of us have, and I can explain mine, but I'm shocked at yours. No Max Fried for you.
I know. I had a hard time. If I took Glasnow and Strider out, he would be in there.
Okay.
I am not sure. I thought Carlos Rodon would be phenomenal in New York.
Yep.
So I'm done with this guy should be okay in New York thing. Because frankly, recent history, the only one that's joined the Yankees that's lived up to what he was supposed to be is Cole.
Yeah. That's why I don't have Fried in there.
And Cole will be better this year than he was last year. There's never a doubt. And that's a good point, Ted. So like Strider's a great example. So yeah. Strider's coming off an injury. Strider might be kept in our league because you're betting on futures a little bit in a dynasty league. He's going to get drafted a lot higher, I think, than I would be willing to take him.
It's the size.
And clearly, you. I mean, since you didn't rank him, clearly you as well.
It's the size of the investment that you got to make. Okay, so I have DeGrom on there. They let him come up in September for a cup of coffee. His injuries have been elbow and shoulder, the two things you don't want, right? So that's scary, absolutely scary. But yeah, I got to see it. I want to, and I don't care about spring training. I got to see it before I'm going to make a sizable investment. If someone's there later in the draft, but someone's going to take that plunge with a Strider or somebody else. In most cases, earlier than me.
Like I think Castillo will bounce back this year. This is the category, and Ted makes a great point where his thought is nobody worth a minimum 9th round in a 15. You can easily build a pitching staff very, very easily, and a really good pitching staff in an open draft league or a light dynasty league. You can easily build a pitching staff because there's so many guys, right? You got 150 to 170 starters. You cross, maybe 50 of them off. So you got, like, for me, you cross Kyle Gibson and Lance Lynn off the list no matter what. But
yeah.
But then you still dig in, and like it wouldn't kill you to take Zach Eflin late and pile up strikeouts, and if wins are a thing in your league, it wouldn't kill you. Like he's not going to. There's enough of those. There's enough of those guys floating around that where the challenge comes is in a counting league. When a counting league is you can build a great pitching staff with ERA and WHIP, but sometimes you end up giving away strikeouts, and you can't make up. That's a very difficult category to attack and try to make up counting stats of all the pitching stats. That's the hardest one. Saves, you can fix saves. If holds is a category, you can fix holds. You can fix that in a minute. You can trade, pick up, whatever, change your pitching staff makeup so you've got more closers and relievers than starters. But once you're dragging tail and strikeouts, it's really difficult. It's really, really difficult. And then with the amount of injuries that happen with pitchers, if you're counting on guys to get strikeouts and then they get hurt, then you're totally screwed.
Yep. Do you have a sleeper out there not on your list? I do. I'll let you go first on that.
It's probably Spencer Arrighetti.
Okay.
He's probably the sleeper that's not on my list. That year two, had a full season, went through it all. They're still going to compete. He had enough really, really good starts to make you think that he could be a really good pitcher. And I don't think I'd be 100% surprised if he was their ace at the end of the year and Valdez wasn't.
Yeah, maybe. The guy I really like, I know you like him too, because I think you drafted him last year, Jared Jones.
Yeah.
Great number 2 to Skeens. He kind of flew under the radar last year because Skeens took all the publicity there, but he's a pitcher. And again, if Pittsburgh lets him go, if they'll let him pitch, you're going to have something there, and you probably get him in the middle rounds.
So the guy that they'll probably the guy that's most likely to be screwed with if he makes the roster out of spring training is Bubba Chandler. That's the guy they would treat the most like they treated Skeens last year.
Yep.
Jones, the third time through the lineup, was not great. He was not great. He's got a ton of pitches, and he wasn't very good after he got hurt. He wasn't very good after he got hurt. The other guy that's a super sleeper, if he's healthy at all, is Jesus Luzardo. You can't be in a better spot. They're going to score a zillion runs, so there's no pressure on him to go out and throw, 6 or 7 innings, a 3-hit 1-run ball. He can just go out and pitch, and if he goes out and pitches, and he's healthy, then he's going to be a sneaky good pick.
Is he reliable though? He came up with a lot of promise in Oakland. They misused him, mishandled him, and then gave him away for half a year of Starling Marte. But he showed flashes in Miami, but not putting it all together.
He was in the conversation preseason last year for Cy Young.
Sure he was.
And then he got hurt. He's definitely got the stuff. He's on the right. He's also on a staff. He's also on a staff with other pitchers that'll help him. Like Wheeler and Nola will help Luzardo.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said for that. There's definitely something to be said for a young-ish pitcher on a staff with veteran pitchers. And I think that Schmidt was a benefactor of Cole being hurt last year because Cole was in his ear a lot. And I think if there's willingness from some of these veteran guys to help the younger pitchers, like Kyle Harrison could get a bump from Verlander being in San Francisco, because just the knowledge base and the willingness to help could help them immensely.
Hey, you brought up Nola. Is Nola the classic case of a guy that is much more valuable to his Major League Baseball team than his fantasy baseball owner? He doesn't get you a million strikeouts. His ERA is always.
I think he's the classic case of he should be better. He should be better in Roto based on his name and where he plays than he actually is. So I think people get caught up in the I saw him throw, 8 innings, a 3-hit shutout ball once. And I think they get caught up in it. And he pitches on a team that's going to win, somewhere between 90 and 95 games probably.
Yeah.
So there is that tendency, and that's why I'm like, my brain is a little distracted on this AI dialogue that Ted started. there is a tendency to focus on pitchers that pitch on winning teams,
That's what I try and do.
and I think we all do to some. I think
Right.
we all do, right? I think we all do. Like what Marlins pitcher is going to get taken this year? Like, who knows, right? Who knows? Like who knows what Rays starter is going to get taken this year? Like who knows? Teams that use openers, teams that teams that are non-traditional, teams that suck. Like everybody tends to stay Colorado pitchers. Everybody stays away from Colorado starters.
Yep.
Because they kill you and whip an ERA just because of where they play, and
they're awful, just awful.
Then you're chasing counting stats, and you want them in a 2-start week, and you didn't pay attention that one of those starts was at home, and it's Gustavo Shaquin all over again, where his first start of the week, you're like, oh my God, this guy's awesome, and then he gets back to Colorado, and you're like, oh, for Christ's sakes, with this freaking guy, what am I doing? What am I doing? It'll be the movement will be the movement as we get into spring training from a pitcher standpoint is going to be really interesting, as like some of these, like is Drew Thorpe healthy, and the White Sox are awful, but he was really good last year. I mean, like there's guys that you're like, this team's going to be really good, and Jameson Taillon's reliable, and the Cubs might be better. And I know you had Imanaga, who's one of my favorite characters in baseball, but like, what's Brady Singer look like in Cincinnati? Cincinnati's loaded with pitching. Right? Is this the year Nick Lodolo becomes the guy that they think he is, right?
Yeah. I like Rhett Lauder. I love Rhett Lauder.
Burns, like they got guys coming. Hall in Milwaukee, like he was really good before he got hurt last year. So it's not, I think the part that we both agree on is it's easy to throw 25 names on a piece of paper. It's harder to rank them after the top 3.
Yeah.
But you can go to 60 in a minute.
Oh, absolutely. We haven't even talked about Jack Flaherty yet. Now you know where he's playing. He's our hot stove update, by the way, because that's it. Great move for him.
Yeah.
Back to Detroit, where he rediscovered his career. And my God, could you imagine what would the Tigers have done last year had they not traded him? That's a fun team to watch this year.
Reese Olson, really good, man.
Yep.
Big live arm. Big live arm. Right. They are, if they hit a little bit, they're in the right division. There's no doubt about that.
True.
They're definitely in the right division. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I wouldn't be shocked if the Pirates traded Mitch Keller before the season started.
Yeah. By the way, Uncle Ted, next week, relief pitchers, my man, you brought up Mason Miller. He's the guy.
He's 4th.
It'll be the Mason Miller fan appreciation week next week.
Somebody's got to get saves.
They're going to be good. They're going to be better. Not good, but they'll be better.
Maybe. I mean, they're talented. I mean, they certainly have young talent. There's no doubt about it. There's no question about it. And I mean, we've talked about it enough times, that the credit those guys got for putting their head down and playing baseball last year and doing what they did when everybody thought they were going to win 50 games, me included.
Me, same here.
I just, another move, a new stadium. Nobody has any idea what that stadium is going to look like from a major league standpoint, and the impact it's going to have on the bats and on the arms. So who knows, right? Like, who the heck knows?
Well, they got some guys. They got some serviceable pitchers. J.P. Sears got things going last year. Thank you. He was the Frankie Montas trade with the Yankees.
That asshole.
Severino, I'm not expecting a whole lot there, but the A's are going to be a little better this year.
He's your number one starter.
Oh man, Severino, it's the biggest contract in franchise history for a journeyman pitcher. Hey, Uncle Ted, if here's a guy I want to ask you about down in Texas because he had a cup of coffee here when he first Kumar Rocker. It's his status. Is he gonna? He's scheduled to be in that rotation. And he'll be interesting. He's had quite an interesting journey. Met fans don't love him, but that's the way it goes.
That's the way it goes. Charger fans don't like Eli Manning. That's the way. That's Colts fans don't like John Elway. That's the way life is sometimes.
All 7 Charger fans have it in for Eli.
As the Rolling Stones would say, you can't always get what you want. That's the way it goes.
Hey, you have Cole 9. I thought you would have had him higher. Where is he starting to sunset a little bit? Has he still got that bulldog in him?
He definitely has that. I mean, hopefully they spent some time on covering first base in spring training. I just threw up in my mouth when I said that. Like, I mean, as a Yankee fan, I want him to end up being. I want to go back to where it was 2 years ago. 2 years ago when we were talking about Wheeler and Cole. Like that's. At one point we were talking about Corbin Burns and Cole as the 2 best pitchers in baseball.
Yeah.
Zach Gallen was in that conversation for a minute too. So he's not far off from where he was. He still throws hard. He still throws strikes. He still competes his ass off. I don't know if he's, it might be the spider tack effect with him, honestly. You lost me there, Ted.
You made 30, but I don't know about 40.
It's not impossible, but unlikely. I mean, I'm really of like the guys that are on this list that we both have, King and Cease. I am like confused and fascinated at the same time. And if they're actually going to be on the Padres when the season starts, and if they've learned nothing, and they clearly have not learned anything. When they blew up their starting pitching 3 years ago and they couldn't get anybody out, you would think that they would learn. Like now I hear they're trying to trade Bogarts and trying to get somebody to take that abomination of a contract. And they'd have to pay a lot of that contract to get somebody to take them.
Yeah.
But like, who's going to take them? So this ownership thing in San Diego has caused it's a real bad scene for a team that's that could be very, very close to contending.
Yeah.
I mean, take the Dodgers out of it. I mean, they were, they had a really good year last year, a great second half. Pitching carried a lot of that. King and Cease were a huge part of that. Like this ownership thing is such a mess that that could implode. That could entirely implode their season this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for sure. The infighting going on there.
Like, if Tatis got traded, would you be shocked?
It's already doing it. They're going the wrong way. They're talking to the wrong team. They're talking to teams about the wrong things.
I know.
They're divesting.
But how many times you're going to do that, right? This is like 3 times in 10 years. Spend a bunch of money, blow it up, spend a bunch of money, blow it up, spend a bunch of money, blow it up. How about spend a bunch of money, be selective in re-signing guys when they become free agents like Kim or Cronenworth's coming up or guys like that. Like, be selective in who you're going to sign. Use your farm system, which they did really well to acquire players. But everybody they acquired like big contracts that were on players that were on bad teams.
I like Clark Schmidt, by the way, Uncle Ted. I drafted him last year.
Yeah, If it's a package for him to get for the Yankees to get Cease or King, Schmidt's going to be in it. I would not trade him. Suarez very likely will get traded. The reason they acquired Luzardo was because Suarez hired. Not you're talking San Diego Suarez. I'm talking Ranger. Ranger signed with Scott Boras, and he's a free agent at the end of the year, and the Phillies aren't going to play that game with him.
Yep.
Like he was as good as there was before the All-Star break last year, and he was not that after. And his back was tweaked up. And I mean, to tell you everything you want to know, they gave Christopher Sanchez an extension, and they didn't do anything with Suarez last year.
All right. Any other
the other San Diego closer that could get moved, or they thought he was going to be the closer when they signed him, was Matsui.
Yeah.
Like he could go. Like they're trying to move anybody that's got a decent sized contract.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Just insane. Like, didn't anybody learn anything from the fucking Diamondbacks? Just get in the friggin' tournament.
Yep.
Just get in.
Just get in.
Just get in. And then hope you have enough pitching and you play like the Diamondbacks was that we have enough pitching, we fixed our bullpen and we play the right way, and we're just going to beat everybody playing solid baseball. That's exactly what they did.
Or go get Freddie Freeman.
Or go get Freddie Freeman and Shohei Ohtani and Tyler Glasnow and Blake Snell and Sasaki and Teoscar Hernandez. And I heard they're trying to trade for Giannis right now. They're in the loop that like that's where Myles Garrett's rumored to be going. Like they're just getting.
I really love the Dodgers because they have upset Hal Steinbrenner.
So in that, everybody loses their mind when he talks, me included.
Fiscal responsibility. Hashtag.
But he made a point. He made a point, and Jeff Passan wrote a great article about this. He made a point that can't be like that was kind of understated, but like Yankee fans didn't want to pay any attention to it, right? Is that his money is his money, and 100% of his money comes from the New York Yankees. Yep. The Dodgers are owned by a hedge fund. So when you have unlimited income sources that you can then divert to your team, you have a definite advantage over the bulk of the owners that want to compete, that will spend money, that will sign free agents, all like not the Pirates of the world and the Marlins of the world, and like not those teams where they make an effort to compete, but it's their money, right? Like, I mean, the Ilitch family's got to sell a shitload of pizzas to put more money into the Tigers. You know, I don't want to hear it from the Ricketts family; they're full of shit. But I don't want to hear it. But you know, would you be surprised if a hedge fund bought the Red Sox? And then it's game over in the American League.
Yeah, you know what though, the Dodgers, you can't say that they're going to win the World Series definitively. You can say that they have the highest payroll. I wish they would do something about the deferred salaries. I don't care for that, but those are the rules and they're playing by it. Okay,
the players will never vote against deferred salaries under any circumstance. They'd be and they'd be idiots to do so.
You're right.
Now, the other owners might put pressure on that.
But the best team doesn't always win in baseball.
Well, it's a long season and injuries happen.
Long season. They got guys that battle with injuries, and you can't just say that they're going to win, because if you're a good GM, you get committed, you find their weak links, you find their soft spots, and you try and figure out how to exploit those. And I don't know what they are, because that lineup is scary good. But
yeah, but their pitching staff was obliterated. Their pitching staff was obliterated in the playoffs last year.
The last couple of years.
And Dave Roberts did a masterful job. And they did exactly to the Yankees what the Yankees didn't have to have happen to them. They took advantage of what the Yankees were bad at.
Yeah.
It was like just a fundamental baseball. They're terrible at it. Terrible at base running, terrible at fielding. They're bad at all that shit that makes everybody in the world that's loved baseball for more than 40 years insane, me included. And they took advantage of all that. So like the door opens to all the mistakes, and they took advantage of all the mistakes.
Yep.
It's a good segue. That's why the Chiefs will win the Super Bowl.
Let's go to the Super Bowl. Here's my problem with this game. I don't pay any attention to the Super Bowl until 6:00 Sunday night because I don't want to be tired of it. I don't want to be sick of it. And the less Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes that I can have in my world, then the better.
The 2 weeks has become, to me, very boring. It's just too much of the same conversation about the same stuff.
Yep.
It takes it takes away the excitement. And then this year you got 90% of America that's sick of the Chiefs.
Yeah, we're cheaped out.
And 10% of America that hates the Eagles because their fans are idiots. And and that's where you are, right? That's where you are. For the first time in I don't know how many years, ticket prices for the game are dropping.
That's interesting. That's shocking.
Still $4,000.
That's insane. That's insane.
$4,000 to go to a game where there's going to be 75,000 people in the stands, and 35,000 of them could give a rat's ass which team is playing.
More importantly, how much does a beer go for in the Superdome?
$1 million.
My God, you got to talk about bottom line. And what's your total expenditure? I don't care how much it costs to get in.
Ted, you're the best, man.
Yeah, don't get me started on the officiating of the Chiefs because they love themselves the Kansas City Chiefs. And there's Ted with his grok.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell myself to just
Series 41-38 Chiefs.
Sit back and enjoy the game and try not to, because what happens is when the Chiefs play, this is why I have no objectivity. I get angry when they don't call a holding call on every single play because their offensive line, when they're not lining up off the line of scrimmage or a false start, they're holding. It bothers me.
So take all that stuff out of it for just a minute, right? Like and trying to be objective about this a little bit. The Chiefs don't make a lot of mistakes.
No, they make plays that winning football teams make. They block field goals on the last play of a game to save a win.
They do what's necessary to win, and they don't really care how.
Yep.
And I think that where the Eagles could be, the Eagles are in a huge deficit, is that a coaching decision is going to have to happen. This is going to be another close game, I think, between these two teams. A coaching decision is going to have to happen. And of the two head coaches, you trust one infinitely more to make a call that would change the outcome of the game. Actually, I trust two coaches on the Chiefs to make a call more than I trust Sirianni to do anything, right? Like Spags did it Spags did it 2 weeks ago. He made a call.
Yes, he did. He did.
He did it.
He won that game.
He definitely won that game.
He won the game. And what I think Spagnuolo is going to do, the great defensive coordinators, Belichick used to do this. What's the one thing the Eagles have to win the game? They need to be able to run the ball, Saquon Barkley. I expect Spagnuolo to sell out and take Barkley out if you can. He's on such a roll. I don't know if you can do that, but if you can, the Chiefs will.
But where the Eagles are scary, like they probably have the most complete lineup in the league. Where they're scary is, okay, we can't run. then you're going to make me throw to AJ Brown and to Devontae Smith. Okay, we'll do it. I think if the Chiefs make Hurts put the ball in his hands and have to win the game, they have a better chance than if they're like, we'll let Barkley get 300 yards if he wants. It's fine.
No, I think they're going to do everything they can to neutralize him and like you just said, make Hurts win the game. I don't know if he can. I hope he does.
Me too. I don't want another parade in this town. It's a disaster.
Well, there's going to be some looting anyway. I could use a new TV, by the way. There's going to be looting, win, lose, or draw.
Yeah, so, and with sneaker prices going up because of tariffs, I mean,
hook me
up. Hopefully Foot Locker downtown purges their inventory before Sunday, so there's nothing to steal. They'd be smart to take everything out of the store. So I'm betting tails. Yeah, right now, Tails has a 2-game lead over Heads in Super Bowl history, but the team that wins the toss only wins 40% of the time.
Okay.
So Tails has come up 2 times more than Heads in the history of the Super Bowl, but the team that's won the toss has only won 40% of the time. So it's 60-40 to the team that loses the toss. Not whether they get the ball first, none of that. Just you called Tails. It was Tails. You won the toss. There's a 40% chance you're going to win, 60% chance you're going to lose. I like any parlay you want to put together with Dallas Goedert because the Chiefs are terrible at covering tight ends because they use their linebackers to sell out on the run and blitz. I like Kareem Hunt for an anytime touchdown.
Okay.
I don't know why all of a sudden Isaiah Pacheco's not featured, but they clearly trust him. They clearly trust him more. And then one of the weird bets that I found today was that both teams making a field goal 33 yards or longer. That's like the lockest bet of the year, right?
Yeah.
That's like a lock bet. Well, you know what, though? Maybe it's not because Elliott's not been great. Elliott's not been great. I hope it's a good game. I hope the commercials are great. The previews of the Bud Light commercials are already phenomenal. The Shane Gillis Post Malone. The Shane Gillis Post Malone commercials are great. Peyton Manning's in a couple of them. I mean, they're
okay. Give me enough of those guys. Enough of those guys. They're clowns.
But we're gonna add Jason Kelce because he'll be in 8 commercials too.
I like Jason Kelce.
I'm done fatigued with him.
I'm done with the Mannings and that Eli is not a Hall of Famer. He had 2 great Super Bowls. He didn't lose. Actually, his defense had 2 great Super Bowls. He just found a way to not lose them. Average quarterback for the regular season. And he's going to get in the Hall of Fame because of his last name.
Like career-wise, Rivers was a better quarterback.
Oh, the Hall of Mediocres, Philip Rivers. Never won a big game in his life. Ever.
Well, he also has the curse of the Chargers, which is what's one of the things you can bet on. You can bet your life on. They're down 9 going into the 4th quarter, and something miraculous has to happen. I mean, Fouts was able to do it. Rivers was never not. But Rivers had a better career as a quarterback than Manning. Manning just won 2 Super Bowls. Not that that's anything to sneeze at.
Yeah. No, he played well in those wins, but it was the defense. It was Justin Tuck and all those guys beating the Patriots. I mean, and incredible catches by Tyree. The pass to Manningham, I got to give him, that was incredible.
That was a phenomenal pass. Yeah. The pass to Burris that they won the game on was a great pass. It was a nice.
He played mistake-free in 2 Super Bowls. That's his biggest calling card, and that's important. They won the game. You won the Super. That's why you played. But
you got to win. You got to win. I mean, historically, is the team that makes the least amount of mistakes is the team that wins this game.
Yeah.
Unless it's the Niners playing the Chargers, and then
Just a
They could have made 100 mistakes and they still would have won 150 to 3.
Any idea what the over/under is on total interceptions? That was always a go-to because
2.5.
The losing quarterback usually throws at least 2, sometimes 3 if they fall behind big early.
It's 2.5. It's 2.5. So I'm on DraftKings because I had a little bit of an issue with FanDuel, and they didn't do they did me wrong. So let's see, passing props. I gotta find it. So over under is 48.5. The lines, the Chiefs given 1.5. I will tell you, I do like the way that FanDuel lays their bets out better. You get Marquise Brown to have exactly 5 catches for plus 400.
I don't know about that.
I don't see a team. I see player over under interceptions at 0.5. But I don't see someplace in here there is. I saw it earlier. I think it's 2.5. I think Mahomes and Hurts are both plus 1.5 over for touchdowns.
Okay.
Seems weird to me.
Who you got? You got Kansas City?
Yeah, I got Kansas City until somebody shows that they can kill them.
I'll go Chiefs. How about 34-31? You don't win 17 straight one-score games by accident. That just doesn't just happen. That's what I said before. Great teams make plays to win games, and teams like my team and your team, they play losing football, and the Chiefs play it. And it's not all Patrick Mahomes. It is the coaching that you brought up before. Reed's a Hall of Famer. Spagnuolo's a Hall of Famer, and they're deficient in the skill positions, but Mahomes makes every receiver better.
No, Worthy's coming on. Kind of like where Rashee Rice was last year. I mean, it's the same bull crap. That's why everybody's so sick of him. It's the same bull crap over and over and over and over again, and it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
I'll give you something to root for. We have a friend of ours that lives in Massachusetts who's rooting hard for the Chiefs just because it's apparently upsetting the Patriot people that there's another team infringing on their but they believe the elite statuses of their franchise.
That's a shame.
I thought you would feel that way.
I feel bad. I feel bad that the Patriot fans are butthurt about anything. I feel bad. I feel really bad. I feel terrible for them and all their Super Bowls, and now you're butthurt because somebody might three-peat, and then the luster's off your cheating and your bullshit that you put the rest of football through for all those many years, me specifically. And you know what? To hell with them. To hell with them.
Wasn't there a butt fumble against the Patriots?
So hopefully the hot stove ticks up before next week, and we have more hot stove like that. Like, see what I did there?
I did. Yeah, you pivoted.
I did.
Well
I
done.
pivoted. I pivoted quickly. Brady even mentioned it. I don't know what the hell happened. Something happened last week, and he goes, "We've had a butt fumble and a something else," and I'm like,
Yep.
"Where's Greg Olson when I need him?"
Sure. No, Tommy's got a football team to run, so he needs to focus his attention there.
Yeah, well, we get him on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Do we?
I wonder who's got the Westwood one. No, do we get Nansen? Who's got
I don't
the
know
game?
who's doing the game. I don't even know who's got it.
I thought it was Fox. I hope it's not. Yeah, it's Fox. Christ.
Is it? Oh, it sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. It does suck. I wonder who. Maybe they're doing a Nickelodeon Super Bowl, and I can.
I'll tell you who's probably on Westwood One is the worst. Well, it's a tie. The worst
Kevin
football
Harlan.
announcers, Kevin Harlan and Mike Tirico, are without question the worst announcers ever for football, ever. It's called the mute.
I don't
Kevin
mind
Harlan.
Tirico because Al Michaels has mailed it in.
Yes. Tirico, stick to golf. Stick to golf. You're terrible on the call for football. He just doesn't have a good voice.
No, he's better in the he is better in the studio. I
Yeah.
agree with that. He's definitely better. He's definitely better in this. Maybe I'll listen to it on Spanish on Fox Deportes.
There you go. Yeah, brush up on your bilingual.
It'll be better than buying a whatever that's called a language thing. Rosetta Stone, that thing.
Price of that's going to be going up too.
Yeah.
Not that we're going political, but
yeah, I did. I mean, I don't know if you saw my post that I did say that I bought all the avocados and Mexican food in the grocery store on Sunday in a pre-tariff.
Yes.
In a pre-tariff move, which is now not a tariff, which is.
Yeah. Well.
Why didn't he just in the first place just ask them to deploy some troops? So to deploy some troops to the border, and then Canada, because Canada does what Canada does, like, yeah, we'll send 10,000 troops to the border. They approved that like 8 months ago. They just built it all up.
Let's not go. I haven't watched the news since the first week of November for a reason. So let's not go.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
It's a good idea. Though that plane crash in Philly was 3 miles from my house on Friday night.
That's scary.
You think?
Yeah, I didn't know you were that close to it.
No, my poor daughter spent Friday night after the crash making wellness calls to her kids because the schools that she serves are in like within a quarter mile of that site.
Wow.
I mean, I do drive through there every time I go into my office.
That's scary.
Not anymore. I don't. Not for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts. It was that was crazy. And then of course, my other daughter couldn't make a cell phone call for a full day down in DC because the cell lines were over capacity because of that crash, which is also nuts.
Yep.
It's more fun to talk about fantasy baseball and now me going down, thank you, Uncle Ted, me going down the rabbit hole of AI and roster building, which wasn't on my fantasy baseball now bingo card for tonight. And then bitching about how many times I see Peyton Manning in a commercial on Sunday. That's certainly more fun than
Gotcha.
Than all the rest of this.
All right. So next week, relief pitchers.
Next week, relief pitchers, and maybe we'll sneak a little something else into.
And the annual trauma of your key closer on your fantasy team getting traded to be a setup man in July.
yeah.
Just why don't they just tell you to spread your legs and kick you right in the groin?
And my continued impassioned plea for our league to add holds as a category,
Yes.
along with OPS, which will fall completely on deaf ears
Correct.
because those stats didn't exist 36 years ago when we started our league. So we're not doing it. I mean,
No,
you can't get it. You have to special order a fucking stick shift car now if you want a manual transmission. When that was you had to special order an automatic when our league started. We were still using phones that hung on the wall.
Yep.
All these other things have changed in 35 years. 2 stats get added to baseball, and our league is like,
I
oh,
used to keep my stats on
slow your roll there. Slow your roll there, you young whippersnapper
I used
nerd.
to keep my stats on a piece of paper with a pencil and an eraser, and update them every morning when I read a newspaper to get box scores.
Yeah, when we waited for Sporting News to show up on Saturday so we could see a
Yes.
full week of West Coast box
Yes,
scores.
kids, we are that old. We are
that old. We are when Major League Baseball the show was played via Stratomatic instead of on a computer, my friends.
True. All right. So we'll see you next week. Fly, Eagles, fly. Right.
Fly, Eagles,
Come on.
fly. Maybe we get some Bregman and some Alonso news next week. That'd be nice.
Maybe. Yeah, it would. Yeah, it's
gotta
gotta
happen soon. They're packing the trucks up. They're getting ready to go to Florida.
Spring training.
It'll be real. Baseball will be real again in about 10 days. So you know.
Awesome sauce.
Get ready for your draft. See you, boys.
Enjoy your evening.
Adios.
Bye now. Wait a second. Hold on. There it is.
Yeah. Production stuff.
We're out.
Still hiring a producer.
Not in the budget.